You may think that there's a car behind me, but it doesn't exist, and we're going to tell you all about how this ghost came to be and how I built it bolt by bolt, piece by piece. Today we have a very special offer thanks to our friends at SoloWerks Suspension. The coupon code #SoloJamie will give you $150 off any complete set of suspension and free shipping in the United States. But what do I hear you yelling at me? Jamie, I'm in Canada. No problem. There's an extra special code down below in the description that includes a discount, free 3-day shipping to Canada, and it also includes all of the import duty. And what else do I hear you yelling? Jamie, I'm a truck girl or boy with a Volkswagen Caddy pickup. Well, no problem, because SoloWerks are enthusiasts too, and they get that you don't need those rear shocks. So check below for a special coupon that gives you just the front struts or a Mark 1, which is just what you need for your Rabbit pickup truck. Again, thank you so much to SoloWerks for keeping a lot of my rides looking lower and running nicely, and for helping make these videos possible and you get good quality suspension at great prices. Thank you. Jamie, this is just a Volkswagen Caddy van. Well, you are fundamentally correct. That is what I have tried to build myself. But first, if you're not familiar with them, what is a Caddy van and where did it come from? Well, let's see. All started way back in 1980, 1979 in Westmoreland, Pennsylvania. And if you haven't watched the Westmoreland, Pennsylvania video yet, well, finish watching this one and then go check it out. Volkswagen America thought, hey, we can do a little pickup truck. It's America after all.
A new Volkswagen pickup is built like a truck, but from 0 to 50, it's faster than this MG. It comes with fuel injection, like this Formula car. It has a steering system similar to this Ferrari, and front-wheel drive, like this Trans Am race car. The new Volkswagen pickup, it's built like a truck, but it drives like something else.
Volkswagen does it again.
Volkswagen did produce the Volkswagen Caddy van, or the Rabbit pickup truck, here in the USA first. Then it went on to be produced in Europe, but not in Germany. It was in Sarajevo. Then, well, South Africa started production after Westmoreland closed down. Volkswagen America would never sell another commercial vehicle ever. While the T3 Vanagon and the T4 Eurovan would be sold in the USA only as passenger vans, Volkswagen Nutzfahrzeuge, or Volkswagen Commercial, would continue to make a huge range of passenger vehicles to this day. The Type 2 bus would go on to be made up until and including the 6th generation, while the Caddy has been made almost continuously during that time as well. Now, in the USA, we have something called the chicken tax. This started in 1964. Europe wanted to tax USA chickens, and someone in the USA decided that vans and pickup trucks would be a good counter move. Ugh. This meant that Ford literally imported every single first-gen Ford Transit Connect with rear seats and rear windows installed to make them seem like passenger vans. And then once they were here in the USA, they took out the rear windows and seats, threw them away, and put in solid rear blocks instead of windows because that was cheaper than paying the higher import duty. I am not making that up. But staying with the Volkswagen Caddy, the 2nd generation Caddy was, well, a small pickup, and it was really a rebadged Skoda Felicia, which was a basic lightweight truck built in the Czech Republic. Rather, well, boring, except for the amazing Skoda Felicia Fun. The Felicia Fun had yellow everything and even a rear seat that extended out of the single cab into the bed. WTF, that thing is so cool. At the same time, the Caddy name moved on to being a small passenger van with enclosed rear section. It's a Volkswagen Polo, or really a Seat Ibiza in the front, but it's a Pulpmobile in the back. In 2003 came the 3rd generation, which shared its underpinnings now with the Volkswagen Touran minivan and the Mark V Golf. This platform Caddy lasted for about 17 years before the very latest model in 2020 went to the MQB platform. Mine is the final version of the pre-MQB Caddy. Now, why do I tell you all of this? Well, first of all, I hope it's interesting. But second of all, that's where this platform came in. So let's talk more about that. So where did my project come from? Well, I had this dumb daydream back in the day that with the new Scirocco or the Caddy van or some vehicle that wasn't sold in America, I could just go to Europe and order a brand new body shell and just build it myself. You know, like a good Volkswagen enthusiast would. But Volkswagen won't sell you chassis. It doesn't happen. If you have a legit motorsport team, you can use one for motorsport, but otherwise you just can't do it. So I asked, and I begged a little, and I asked, and I pleaded, and I presented proposals and everything else, and it was a lot of no's. Until one day I got an email, hey, there's a Caddy shell available in Wolfsburg. So this is it. This is my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Okay, I'll take it. So I jumped on a plane, grabbed my trailer, went out to Wolfsburg, and picked this up as a completely bare, unbuilt, never VINed, no chassis number, no bolts, no paint, no wires, no engine. What else? I mean, just fundamentally nothing. And I pulled up, and there was a nice German with it on a pallet, on his forklift. And I'm just so excited. This is a big day for me. This is a big, big, big day. Again, maybe once in a lifetime big. And he doesn't care. I jump out my van like, oh my God, das ist fantastisch. Das ist ein großen Tag. He's like, yeah, bro, I just drive a forklift. Where do you want me to put this? I'm like, on the trailer. It's going to America, baby. It's going to be so rad. He's like, okay. Yeah, that was it. Strapped it down. There was one thing I got with it. They did give me a fuel door. I don't know why, but they were like, this is also for this. So I have a brand new primered fuel door, which is fitted to it today in paint with wires and a lock and screws and everything else that goes into making a fuel door work. I hope that you're getting the idea that this is a lot. I did not know how much work this was going to be. I still don't know how much work this is going to be. So, if you haven't guessed already, or indeed know about this project, I have hand-built this. Every single bolt, wire, module, every single piece on it has been installed by hand. And to start with, well, we wanted to get it rolling. So we put wheels and suspension. Thankfully, it's Volkswagen, so it's all kind of Lego. The front uses Mark V, Mark VI, heck, pretty much all the most recent front ends. It does have fancy forged brake, and it does have airlift suspension in the front as well. So I did some little upgrades there, but all brand new. Every single piece, every bolt is brand new, and that is a lot. Every single piece is brand new. And I'm gonna try and say the rest of this without saying brand new. Final time saying brand new, brand new, brand new. So 0 mile engine installed. Thankfully, this is the PQ chassis, so it is shared in North America by the USA-built Passat. If you have access to a brand new Passat, essentially you can build a Caddy out of that, or so I thought. It does run, it does drive, it steers, it brakes, turn signals work, headlights work, all of these things work thanks to, well, a brand new Passat and a whole lot of parts ordering. Imagine going through every single page on the body and just clicking yes to every single line with every single bolt that it takes to do that. How do you even build a car? This is nuts. This is the stupidest idea I've possibly ever had. And it's still not finished. So dumb. So specifically on glass and the doors, let's use this as an example. This is a brand new door, and every single piece of trim, and even just the mirror, this is brand new, but you can't just order a mirror. You need to order the glass and the wiring and the cap and this piece under there, and then there's ones with turn signals or no turn signals and everything else. It's not just one piece. Of course, then the bolts that go in and hold it. I hope that I'm conveying some sort of the madness that it goes into it. The door doesn't work without the door modules, so there's multiple electronic modules that control all of that. Thankfully, Volkswagens really are Legos. And so it came down to a lot of time with VCDS Vagcom, and thankfully their latest version is Wi-Fi, so I literally plug it into the car with a charger and sit in my office for hours and hours programming every module, but I was able to do it. So now the central locking works, the window goes up and down, the mirrors move, the little light flashes when it's locked. I'm really quite proud of this. This door, this one door alone has more than 200 hours of wiring and coding in it. 200 hours. I lost count at 200 hours. Just the same as when I started building it, we tried to count how many bolts went into it. And we got to hundreds upon hundreds and lost count, or just got bored of trying to keep track. But let me grab the key real fast. No setup, no nothing. Let's see money where my mouth is. All of the key locks are the same. Building keys is kind of fun. I literally had to learn how to pick the rear lock assembly, and then I repinned it to match this. But gosh, I hope this works. So yeah, it locks. It's got a blinky light, every single light. Just remember, every wire, that light has 2 wires, which goes down into a module, which goes off somewhere else and connects to the comfort control module or the CAN bus module. And it all works. I don't think you can understand. I don't think I can express. Volkswagen, every car manufacturer, it's unbelievable that you produce millions upon millions of all of these and they all just work, because building one is a nightmare. Speaking of which, let's talk about some of the problems. Let's talk about one problem. Let's talk about the biggest problem on this. What do you think it is? Importation? Making an engine run? Making all the wiring work? A VIN number? No. Let's talk about wipers. Let's talk about beeping, beep, wipers. We're talking about wipers. So one thing that I could never have imagined when I was building this is the trouble I would have with the wipers. I've been working on this, well, probably 4 or 5 years, but there's about 2 years that I just didn't work on it at all. And I got busy, other projects, big things, you know. So the wipers in the Caddy sit under here, and it's quite a specific system. It does use a linkage, but the motor is a standard dumb motor using a very smart Bosch microprocessor. And why do I know so much about this? Because I've now learned as much as one person on their own could possibly learn about the LIN bus setup. So CAN bus, hopefully we're aware of CAN bus, but if not, well, it's a network, fairly high-speed network running throughout your car. CAN bus modules are all over the place, all communicating, blah, blah, blah. It's great. Then there's LIN bus. LIN bus is a cheaper, some would say dumber, but simpler version of CAN bus in that it is a local network inside the car, and it does things like rain sensors, it does things like wipers, things that are not hypercritical. When I say hypercritical, I mean airbags, things like that, things that need to happen very, very, very fast. And we're talking milliseconds. LIN bus does the wipers. However, the USA basis for this project doesn't. It uses a 2 relay setup, which is as old as, well, the Volkswagen Golf or anything else is. And you can't just switch out from one to the other. You would think you can. I know you're probably yelling at me, oh, you can do it. Well, we really, really tried. What I did find out later is that for €1,000, Bosch will program their little microprocessor for you to your sweep angle. But I didn't know that back in the day. So I talked to my dad, who is a wonderful computer nerd, and we have tried to reverse engineer the Bosch microchip, which didn't go very well. There are no wipers still to this day. And part of the process of applying for a VIN as a one-off vehicle, not as a Volkswagen Caddy, but perhaps as a Jamie Mobile or whatever it's going to be called, it needs to have wipers. Ta-da! This somewhat nerdy thing. This is a little Arduino, and this is a LIN bus writer. What this means is I can now intercept the LIN bus module number and the information sent to it. Not in this one, but in another vehicle, because Mark 5s, Mark 6, Mark 7, they all use LIN bus. And I have been able to make a Caddy wiper, and in fact the Touran double wiper setup run on a Mark 5, Mark 6. I know I'm boring you, but I just want to stress how much stress this has been. This is nuts. The next step in the project is to take this, hook it up to a, well, B6 Passat that I happen to have as the daily driver, to intercept the code for the LIN bus, and then we will be able to write our own custom code with the addresses plugged in there for the LIN bus wiper module on a Volkswagen. In theory, it will work. It won't be an OEM part. There will be a small little black box plugged in there, but essentially it will be taking the output from the relay-based system, changing it to use the LIN bus via our okay, this is too nerdy. I have hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours into learning the stupid wiper setup. The motor was the easiest part. Look, it's a brand new, it just runs, it just drives. Why the wipers? All right, let's change this to a happier tune. Now, as we were walking around this, and as Ralph is showing you B-roll footage of it, it is still a work in progress. There is a lot of things torn apart. There's a lot of wiring that is only installed temporarily. I have boxes and boxes of wiring. I'm not making excuses, but it is a work in progress, so excuse me for some of that stuff. One of my personal goals with this project was, if it is driven into a Volkswagen dealership, could they hook it up to their computer and scan everything? Would a technician who works on these in Germany see what I did and just go, oh, this is an unusual engine, and oh, this is a little different, but it works exactly the same. All of the bolts are correct. Of course, we did some upgrading while we were in there. So Ford 6-piston brakes, 1552 19-inch wheels. We've got to have a little bling on there. So the air ride, I did want it to retain the functionality of the van, so instead of doing a trunk install on the floor like normal, or indeed hiding it away underneath, it is mounted up here. Of course, like everything else, it had to be a little fancy, so there's nice CNC brackets where it goes into the body that look rather OEM, but otherwise, I think even that retains a lot of those original OEM plus touches, because the wiring goes down here, follows the normal channel, and then goes into the fuse panel, where I literally put a new fuse into a new position and then drew the wiring diagram in the factory specification so that it does have that technical backup for it. If I die tomorrow and this goes into a dealership and they have my wiring diagrams, I believe any Volkswagen technician in the world will be able to understand and follow exactly what was done with it. Some of the other, well, non-original parts, we have the Black Forest Industries catch can and shift knob inside, and those guys, wonderful, like some of my best friends. They even made it purple to match the detailing there. Unitronic as well, we have the Unitronic air intake, we have a front mount intercooler from them, so instead of ordering some of those original factory parts, I did choose to upgrade. The factory intercooler bolts in exactly the same way as the Unitronic one, but the Unitronic has more flow, it's an upgrade, it's all aluminium, etc. So that's where I decided to do that. I think it still follows in my quest to make it factory-ish. Question I get quite often, would I do it again? If I have the full backing of a manufacturer or something, perhaps. Have I learned so much more from this that I feel that I would be better equipped? Yes, but I hope it's going to be good. And that brings us on to future plans. The wipers are the next big thing. I just can't wait for the day when I sit inside it and I turn the wiper switch and they go on. So that is it. The plan is to get a VIN assigned as a custom built, as a kit car. That is the goal. It will be registered to me. It will be called, well, Volkswagen Caddy will let me, but otherwise, if it's a J-Mobile, I don't care. I'm just happy to have had the experience, and it genuinely has taught me a lot. This has taught me so many life skills that I've been able to use with other projects. But that day when I'm able to drive it in the USA with a hand-built vehicle that simply did not exist before I started it, then I think I'll love it. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sure, well, there's probably comments, questions, what you have done differently, what you would do differently. I'd be interested to know. If you work for Bosch, if you know about that 50-pin or whatever microprocessor in the LIN bus modules, please don't tell me now, because we've spent so long trying to reverse engineer it. But it would still be really interesting. The fact that those things exist, I did not know about before this project. So I hope this has been entertaining. Once again, thank you so much to SoloWerks for making this possible, for Ralph behind the camera. If you have enjoyed these, please do, oh gosh, am I really going to YouTube right now? Like, subscribe, comment, share, etc. But really, thank you so much for spending this time and letting me nerd out on one of my projects. This is my Caddy Van USA. For now though, wash your hands, wash your cars, and take care.